live in seconds taking your calls. Okay, I'm just setting up here, and we got a lot to cover because Trump is very upset for good reason, like I say in the title, which I'm going to go through in just a minute. Hey guys, welcome, welcome. Give me a minute. I'll have the other stream going in just a minute. All right, here we go. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. We got a lot to cover. President Trump posted on Truth Social earlier today his real outrage at people that he refers to as his former supporters. We're going to go through that. We're going to talk about it. Your calls are welcome on this. And the question is, when President Trump says his former supporters, who's he talking about? You know, right here today, Benny Johnson went after President Trump. He called President Trump a hypocrite and really went so far as to say he's a liar. I was shocked at this. You can go check this out. I retweeted this Benny Johnson clip. I'm not going to play it here. But, you know, Benny Johnson, President Trump, and the Trump organization have been nothing but nice. He's been on Air Force One. He's been on Trump Force One. He did an incredible video, Benny Johnson, at Trump's resort, the Doral Resort, which is in Miami. He had exclusive access to that massive golf course, which is like the largest golf course in Florida, you know, for aerial footage and everything, treated like a VIP and everything else. And now he treats Trump this way. Mark Dice today, this one really burned me. Look at Mark Dice. Mark Dice, he did a video today, and here's the title of Mark Dice's YouTube video. Trump digs himself deeper with more ridiculous comments on cover-up, but why? And the thumbnail image, it's an image of Trump wearing a clown nose and says he's getting worse. What's going on here? My name is Brian Craig. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure that you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Just search for the Brian Craig Show. If you're on hold, stand by. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can call in. The number is toll-free and pinned in the live chat. So I want to get to the president's post on Truth Social today. And this is, he was fuming for good reason. This is President Trump on Truth Social today. The radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again. Just like with the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, the Line 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, that's the 51 intelligence agents that signed on that laptop fake letter. The laptop from hell, which the Dems swore had come from Russia. No, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom, the president wrote. And even the Russia scam itself, a totally fake and made up story used in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss in the 2016 presidential election. These scams and hoaxes are all the Democrats are good at. It's all they have. They are no good at governing, no good at policy, and no good at picking winning candidates. Also, unlike Republicans, they stick together like glue. Their new scam is what will we forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have brought this into the BS, he uses the whole word there, hook, line, and sinker. So when President Trump says, my past supporters, who do you think he's talking about? Is he talking about Benny Johnson, Charlie Kirk, Steve Bannon, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones? Who is he talking about when he says, my past supporters? Who do you think he's talking about? They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years. I have had more success in 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history. No doubt about that, right? And all these people want to talk about with strong prodding by the fake news and the success-starved Dems is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about talking of our incredible and unprecedented success, because I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. So he says, I don't want their support anymore. Who do you think? Is he talking about the people I named? I think he is. You know, when President Trump sent that post out over the weekend, he was directly talking to everyone who was on stage at Turning Point USA about this, okay? And he was pretty upset about it, and they continue to do it, and they continue to do it. And you know, one thing about President Trump, one of the things he's about is loyalty. Loyalty. You know, if any of you watched The Apprentice and The Celebrity Apprentice, and I know The Apprentice, Celebrity Apprentice was a reality TV show, but it was on for a long time, and you got to really know what President Trump was like on that show. And loyalty is something that was very important to him during that show, between those different teams. And I've seen it in both of his presidential terms, that it's important to him in the presidency too, loyalty. And when people betray him, that's it. They're on his S list and they're out. And it's really a sad thing. I hate to have to keep going back to this. But my opinion, and I think many of you out there, most of you, if you're MAGA, I think you agree with this, that Trump deserves our loyalty. This is not a normal presidency. He's not a normal president, and he's not really a politician. You know, here's the thing. All these great things that he's doing. The big, beautiful bill has put thousands of dollars in working people's pockets that they didn't have, that the government was taking away. This just trillions of dollars in business that he's brought into the country with all these deals he's making. Made another deal today for billions of dollars. And it continues. He overturned Roe v. Wade. How many babies have been born already since he overturned Roe v. Wade? And over the course of the decades and time, there will be millions of people who were born that never would have been born, and millions of people will live full lives that never would have been born because he overturned Roe v. Wade. It's not just those babies that'll be born, it's the babies they're going to have, and the babies that their babies are going to have, and it goes on forever. All these great things he's doing, and all of a sudden people don't trust him. You know what it was like for him these 4 years with the lawfare? Getting shot, having these Iranian assassin squads after him where he had to fly around on different airplanes, getting arrested, getting mugshots, going in court, being sued by people that are taking accusations from Law and Order SVU episodes. He was accused of mortgage fraud and taken into all these courts. They even got out of that corrupt Judge Merchan's courtroom, they even got criminal conviction. He is, as crazy as it is, even though it's a corrupt court, a corrupt jury, and they don't mean anything to me, under New York law, he's a convicted felon. He went through all of this. He could have stopped all of it if he just didn't run. They were trying to get him not to run, and he says, no, I'm doing it. So what's going on with all these people this week? The Benny Johnsons, the Mark Dices. And I'll tell you what's going on with them. There's two things that are going on, mainly. There's more than two, but the two main things are this. Clicks and views. I'm going to count that as one. That's a big one. But what a lot of these people are doing, and you're starting to see this with these influencers, they're telling themselves, well, you know, in 3 years, he's not going to be president. That's what they're telling themselves. His term is going to be over. And what a lot of them are doing, they're making plans for a post-Trump presidency. They're making friends with people that they think will be in charge after Trump's presidency. That's what's going on here. And more of them are jumping ship each and every day. And a lot of them, the ego's out of control. I am so disappointed in Benny Johnson. I'm so disappointed. I'm not angry. I was never a big fan. I don't watch a lot of other shows. I've talked about this before. I don't like to be influenced on what I cover and discuss and what I don't cover and discuss based on other people. I don't like to be influenced by other people. So I don't watch a lot of people's shows. I do follow on X, and I'll see clips like this disgusting one of Benny Johnson that I retweeted, but I don't listen to other people's shows too often because of that. If there's an event, I'll go and watch it. Like I watched Tucker embarrass himself with the interview of the Iranian president last week, things like that. I did watch that clip of Benny Johnson, but I watched the whole show. You know, I think he owes Donald Trump a lot. Donald Trump has not only gone out of his way to be nice, he has been granted Benny Johnson incredible access. You know, another thing that's going on with these people, their egos are out of control. You know, I've been doing this so long. You guys hear me talk about this a lot. I've been on the air since 91, okay? So, you know, there's no ego with me. And I've been doing this so long, I've had some level of, because I've been on the radio so long, some level of celebrity for over 30 years that I just would never, that would never happen to me. But, I see a lot with these people that have become famous recently, the last 5 years or so. They just think that they're all that. And I got news for you. People that are media, these people are not all that important. You know, you look at people that were on the news that aren't anymore. When they're off the news, does anyone care? You know, Fredo was a big deal on CNN. I know he's back on TV on some little tiny thing no one watches. Do people really care about Fredo? Or what about Don Lemon? Don Lemon was all that. Or Joy Reid. Everyone was sucking up to Joy Reid not that long ago. She's not on MSNBC. Does anyone care what Joy Reid thinks or says anymore? You know, and these people's egos have gotten out of control. They think they know better than Trump. They think they're smarter than Trump. Trump's running a big operation here. And you're either MAGA and you trust Trump or you don't. And he sees a big picture. This is a very unique presidency. You know, I was talking to my wife earlier. My wife made a good point. You know, all these things that Trump's doing, right? Every president could be like this if they were competent. You know, Donald Trump is not only the greatest president of our lifetime and arguably the greatest president the country's ever had. And when I say that, I mean it. I'm going all the way back to General Washington when I say that. But he's also the first competent person we've had as president of the United States who knows what he's doing. Could you imagine if every president we had was competent like Trump? All these other guys, they're all on the take with the donors, worried about how they're going to be able to afford those big mansions like the Obamas have when they leave the White House. All they do is get briefed. They don't really govern. Not only is President Trump competent and doing all these great things because he's so competent, right? He's the first president of any of our lifetimes that's not on the take. Think about that. Now, if you'd like to call in, if you're watching live on YouTube, you can call me live on the podcast. The number's toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Jack again.
Yep.
I don't think that Trump is a victim. I think his supporters are the victims.
Okay, now slow down right there. So that would be me. How are people like me victims?
Because you're falling for the lie that he's not a pedophile.
No. All right, goodbye. I'm not going to entertain stupidity. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Wesley from Texas.
All right, speak up, Leslie from Texas, or Wesley. Is it Wesley or Leslie?
Wesley.
Wesley. All right, Wesley from Texas. What's on your mind?
Appreciate it. So, I'm just a little confused.
Well, that means you're probably a liberal. If you're confused, you're probably a Democrat.
I'm neither.
Oh, yes.
We're not going to jump on that. Well,
Yeah.
I'm being respectful, Brian.
Yeah. You're confused. What are you confused about?
You didn't even let me finish my question. I was saying I'm confused about how come you think Trump's doing a good job facilitating conversation about the Epstein files.
He's not facilitating a conversation about it. That's not his job. He's doing an incredible job as president. He's ended like 4 wars in the last couple of months. That's pretty good, isn't it? He just, do you know that Donald Trump ended the largest human trafficking and sex trafficking and child trafficking operation in the history of humanity when he shut down the southern border? That sounds like a pretty good thing, doesn't it? I mean, that's if you want to say that he's doing a good job, that's a pretty good job, isn't it?
I'm not sure about that.
You're not sure about what? That you're not. You said you're calling me from Texas, so you're on a border state. You're not sure that he shut down. You're not sure that he shut down the illegal immigration.
I mean, it still happens.
No, it's not happening. In fact, last month they had no crossings. They only had about 1,600 encounters along the entire southern border when they were having tens of thousands a month during the last administration. If you're not sure of that, you're just not following the news. I appreciate your call. I mean, I need to talk to people that know what's going on. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean.
Well, I'm listening. I've just been thinking about all these content creators and stuff that you've been talking about today, and it really disappoints me too. And somebody like Benny Johnson should really think about this because during the whole before when Trump was running and you had Vivek Ramaswamy in the mix, that guy was all for him. And he doesn't remember that. And all these people were all taking sides every which way. And now, when something doesn't happen, the good outweighs the bad for Donald Trump. It far outweighs. I mean, he's done so much more than any president's ever done.
Yeah.
And what does it take for people to get over their egos, to get over all of this? We're going to see amazing things that we've never seen before. And it just really upsets and disappointing. And what do they expect? Well, what is it? What does he have to do? He's done everything.
I mean, look how many. It happened today with this prime minister he brought in today. He keeps bringing in world leaders and foreign leaders of corporations too, right? And they announce billions of dollars in investments in the United States, building factories, building plants. And no, I've never seen a president do that. When they have press conferences, they're usually giving money away. I've never seen a president do it this way. Have you? Multiple times?
No, we were always giving the farm away to everyone and other leaders, and this guy is just all for us. He's pro-America. He's the most pro-American president we've ever had. Not just the greatest of our lifetime, but of all time. I definitely agree with that. There's no doubt about it.
What do you think these influencers are all about that are out there like Benny Johnson? Benny Johnson today basically called Trump a liar and a hypocrite. He even played clips of him in 2016 mentioning Epstein. Look, he ran on this. That was 10 years ago. Now he's in a different space, and he's seen all the information.
Yeah. And Mark Dice has been doing that too. And you know, he did in his last video, he's doing some weird stuff.
I showed the thumbnail of Mark Dice's video today. It's President Trump in a clown nose. What the heck?
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking. Yep, that's the one. And it's amazing because if it wasn't for Donald Trump, these guys wouldn't have a platform at all. He's the reason why we have all of this.
Yeah.
Period. It's not even close. It's not even close. How these content creators wouldn't even exist. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what's going through their heads. We're winning every day. There's so much greatness happening. He just signed that bill today with fentanyl. There's so many, the trafficking. He's got the deportations. He's going on to every campaign.
That's right.
Now, he didn't know, and every little thing he's got to do. He's got so much he has to catch and correct. So much mistakes from the last administration. So many things. What do you do? There's one man. He's going against the world. What would they do in this position? What could they do in this position?
Exactly.
Right now, it wouldn't very much, and they would be bought and sold just like the rest of them because this man is completely different. He's the greatest.
Let me tell you, I am so disappointed in Benny Johnson today. I am so disappointed in him.
He brings them to Mar-a-Lago. He brings them to his golf courses. He brings them to his estates. He gets his private access to all his events. He's been in every little thing, everything that we wish anybody else would wish to be able to do. He gets to go in. You know, that whole time he was doing that, I was thinking, man, you were with Vivek Ramaswamy before, Trump got the nomination. You were waving the flag for him nonstop. I watched his videos and I saw what he was doing. He had him on there. He was pushing for him. And all of a sudden now, we got Trump. He's like, oh, Team Trump. And then I don't know what's going through his head. But
I don't know. I mean, maybe he's just a fame chaser.
Yeah, you know what? Because he's gained a lot of clout, and he's definitely growing a big channel. But what does that have to do with the cost of?
Well, I gotta tell you, he could be losing it quickly. I was even surprised Jeremy at the quartering was going after Benny Johnson. I saw earlier, he was calling him out too.
I see that one. I'll check that out because you know what? I know, and then the quartering's almost like almost neutral, and he's saying that. So
I know he doesn't. He's a big fence sitter. Jeremy at the quartering. He doesn't really take positions. It's hard to watch him because he's twerking around so much. It's like watching the Blair Witch Project. But, he needs a steady cam in that studio. Yeah. But I was surprised to see he has a thumbnail of Benny Johnson with a Pinocchio nose. I was surprised to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and he's in Florida, too, of all places, Benny Johnson. Come on. Mm-hmm. Come on. You're in MAGA country.
This is an interesting thing because he was part of that Turning Point event over the weekend that was going, and that President Trump said, hey, back off on this. And he's still doubling out. Hey, listen, appreciate the call. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to take a quick break, get some water, and be back with more of your calls after this. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. Make sure you follow and subscribe. If you're on hold, hang in there. We got a bunch of calls on hold, but I want to play a clip. This was the president today at the White House talking about this very thing. Mm. Okay, now, so, this is one of, I don't know, the third to fourth time President Trump has said the Russia Mueller investigation. And what I believe he's saying with this is that Comey, Obama, and others, a lot of these evildoers, they took the Epstein files, and he was a creep, and there's a lot of creepy things, no doubt about it, and they added a lot of things to it. In fact, what they're saying is they added a lot of things in it to blackmail people into doing different things. That's what he's saying. And he's been saying this for the last, 2 or 3 days now. All right, back to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Jack. I'm from Arizona.
All right, Jack. You called me. What's on your mind?
Oh, sorry. I'm not used to it. I just wanted to, first of all, I'm a 3-time Trump voter, so before we get off on the wrong foot, I just wanted to premise it with that. But I do have some problems that I've just started recently.
Yeah, another panicking. I saw this funny thing on line yesterday. I posted this on X, these panicins, and it's a whole list. I voted for Trump, but, and then they go through this long list. When someone when somebody calls in, hold on, let me finish my thought. When somebody calls me, like you're doing, and said, I voted for Trump, in your case, I voted for him 3 times, but, come on. I get very suspect when I hear that. But go ahead.
No, I just wanted you to know that because I'm not trying to argue with you. I actually believe a lot of what you believe. I just wanted to ask you, I don't even know what your opinion on this, that's why I'm calling to ask. I wanted to see what your opinion is on AIPAC. What do you think about AIPAC?
Oh, what do you mean? What do I think about the Jews in Israel? I think that in Washington, by the way, that's the Jewish Israeli lobby organization in D.C., if you don't know. I support Israel, okay? And there's lots of lobby groups in Washington, D.C. That's only one, right? Yeah, I mean, there's literally hundreds. There may be thousands of them. I mean, every organization, every cause has a lobbyist in D.C., so I don't really think about them too much.
Can I ask you another question, or is that okay?
I'll see. I like people to call in about what I'm talking about. I do open phones on Friday, but I'll give you one more, and I might be interested. But if not, I'm going to move on. I got a lot of people on hold, and maybe they're on topic.
Okay, well, I appreciate the time either way, and I'll ask my question and move on so I don't waste your time.
But I mean, why is it, out of all the lobbyists in D.C., I mean, there's got to be thousands of them, you only talk about that one. I mean, what about the abortion lobby? I don't hear you talking about the abortion lobby or the teachers union. Why is it that one that bothers you? Yeah, but you didn't call in and say, what do you think about the abortion lobbyist? You called in and said, what do you called in and said, what do you think about the Jews, is what you said.
Well,
the reason why I'm specifically talking about AIPAC and why I decided to call you on it
Because
is
you don't like
what's
you don't like
happening with
Jews.
the-
Yeah, I know. You don't like
No,
Israel.
That's disingenuous. I'm trying to have a conversation. That's disingenuous.
You know what? I'm gonna
I'm
answer.
not
you know what? I'm
I'm
not
not
interested.
interested
I'm not
in
interested
that.
in your second question. I answered your first. We talked long enough. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, your first caller talked about victimization. How is Trump not a victim? They've been victimizing him since he came down the escalator. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
You know that's true. And these people that are saying this stuff, you know, maybe this whole, we're trying to get people on conspiracy, right? A whole bunch of people on conspiracy. Maybe this whole thing with Epstein is part of the conspiracy angle.
Well, what I think President Trump's been talking about is that these evildoers in Washington, right, the lawfare people, have been adding to the Epstein files and crafting things in there on top of the true stuff about his scumminess to get people to play ball with them, like they did with him with the dossier. That's what when he says Russia, 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 he's talking about that dossier, that fake dossier, and he's saying that they have been using the Epstein files, adding to them, like they made up the Russian dossier about him to get people like Mueller to play ball.
And that's probably what they did. They used the dossier and other stuff for that New York trial with E. Jean Carroll.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, before that, I'd never heard of E. Jean Carroll.
No.
You know.
No. Either have I. No. All
Yeah,
right,
so-
Mike. Appreciate the call. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Connor Franklin,
Yeah, Connor.
calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
All right, Connor. What's on your mind?
I was wondering what your thoughts were on like the big beautiful bill and like the $3 trillion raise in the deficit.
How's the deficit been raised?
Well, due to like increased spending because of the tax cuts, there will be an
Where
increase in deficit
like
over
as an
the next decade.
example, what is the deficit? What does that mean? When you say the deficit's being raised, what does that mean?
Oh, like the deficit of the country. Like
And
how
what
much the
what
country's
is
indebted.
and how much the country's in debt? So what is in the big beautiful bill specifically that's causing more debt?
The continuation of the Trump tax cuts.
The Trump tax cuts don't cause debt. Like I'm getting tax cuts from the big beautiful bill.
Yeah.
From Trump. Yeah. That doesn't increase the
Therefore,
debt.
government
Well,
tax cuts.
now so I'm getting the Trump tax cuts, right? I will get tax cuts. I'm getting tax cuts because of it. So what does that mean? That means that I get to keep more of my own money, right? So what do you think I'm going to do with that money? So what will I do with that money? What do you think? I'm not a billionaire.
Spend it, save it.
I'll spend it or say, yeah, okay, I'll spend it. So actually, that money gets the economy moving.
I see what you're saying, but I
Okay,
don't think that the
now, what about the
tax cuts
tip
will
workers?
cause us
I
to
just
go out
had,
of
I
debt.
just had.
I disagree.
Okay, now, I just got a notification a minute ago. I ordered DoorDash. Right?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to have something to eat when I'm done with the podcast here. Right? When I'm done with the podcast, I'm going to complete the order. I'm going to give him a tip. Right? Now he doesn't he no longer has to pay taxes on that tip. Before he did, before the big beautiful bill, my DoorDash driver would have to pay taxes on that tip. I got my hair cut yesterday. I tipped the hairdresser, and when I get a haircut, it's all done on an app. They got an app. I pay for it on the app. I make an appointment on the app, and I tip the woman that cuts my hair on the app. She doesn't have to pay taxes on that anymore. So she has more money.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, the DoorDash driver that just dropped off my stuff a few minutes ago, he's got more money. That doesn't add to the debt, the national debt.
Well, yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
And President Trump
Well,
has brought in over $1 trillion in new investment into the country. He's getting the economy moving, not adding to the debt. That's just something that you guys say on the left that don't know what you're talking about.
Can I ask you a question? Would you consider yourself like a fiscal conservative?
Oh, another college boy on the line who is talking out of some textbook like he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, I am a fiscally conservative person, which means and what President Trump is doing with the tariffs and the big beautiful bill, what he is doing is making a move to eliminate income taxes on everyone and funding the country just on tariffs. And you can see that with the billions of dollars that they're bringing in every month because of the tariffs. That's fiscally conservative. Well, you got a lot of questions, but you don't seem to have any answers. You keep asking questions, but don't respond to the answers. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call, all right? Call me again sometime, all right? Take care. You know, he's got a lot of questions, but no answers. This whole thing that it's added to the deficit, that's lies. The Treasury Secretary has talked about this. Do you really think President Trump and these brilliant minds around him would pass a bill into law that would increase the national debt? Of course not. That's just some talking point that liberals keep repeating, and they don't understand what it is they're talking about. We'll take a quick break and be back. All right, we're back. My name's Brian. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Callers on hold, you stand by. Amy Klobuchar, another winner. She was on NBC today, which I know the president calls MSNBC MSDNC. I like calling them MS-13BC. Don't you think that's better? MS-13BC. Yeah, I like that. If anybody could get that to President Trump, I'm sure he'd like it too. But she's talking about the cutting of National Public Radio and PBS. Listen to this stupidity. Mm.
Look at what this is for. Just as we've seen these disasters, including horrifically in Texas, but the fires in Arizona and the like, in many remote areas, or in states like Florida with hurricane season upon us, they rely on a series of public broadcasting to get alerts out. And when it works well, when you actually have a system set up, it works well.
Okay. You know, I'm in Florida. It is hurricane season. I pay very close attention to the weather. I've lived here my whole life almost. I have never, and I don't know anyone that's ever gotten a weather alert from PBS or National Public Radio. Do you? What is Amy Klobuchar talking about? You know, a couple days ago, this was in the story yesterday, they said that the Sesame Street X account had been hacked and they were posting all these anti-Semitic things. I don't think so. I think that people that have access to the Sesame Street X account are pissed off at Trump over the big, beautiful bill cutting their funding. And I think somebody that already had access to it went there and started posting all that stuff. You know, when your account gets hacked, you can get back control of it, not instantly like they did. Public television and Sesame Street, if their account was truly hacked by these rogue anti-Semites, they would not have gotten control of the account back so quick. It was instantly. Somebody posted it. I don't know who has access to their account, but I imagine a lot of people have access to the Sesame Street account. And you know what? I bet they're all liberal. So no, don't let the hack. And who are these hackers? I didn't hear any of them named or who hacked it or anything. Give me a break. All right, let's take some more of these calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, Craig. This is Barry. I just wanted to say I'm a big fan.
Okay, I know. All right, appreciate the call. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hi. I'm Izzy, and I'm from Missouri.
Okay, Missouri. What's on your mind?
I don't know if this has been addressed yet, but what are your stances on abortion and pregnancy-related, like contraceptives and such?
Okay. My daughter is adopted, and my mother is adopted. Okay, so I am pro-life. I am pro-adoption and pro-life, and I'm against abortion.
Yeah, sorry, I'm out of breath because I've been pacing back and forth.
Why are you pacing?
I do it when I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. Well, what's on your mind that you're thinking? So you called me about abortion. You wanted my opinion on abortion.
So my opinion on abortion, unless it's like an absolute emergency, I don't really agree with it.
Okay.
I am actually one of those people who would rather adopt or give them a chance to live.
Okay, so we agree. Okay, so we agree. Okay.
Yes, I am actually very hard on that topic.
Okay. Good.
And it's just.
But wait, why did you randomly call me about this? You randomly called me out of the blue. It's a settled issue. The President Trump, overturned Roe v. Wade, thank the Lord above. There are so few abortions these days compared to what there were before that. And you're telling me that you've got something on your mind and you're pacing around your house and you're out of breath. What's going on?
Well, a lot of the people around me, I live in a Democrat household.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
And they seem to think that it's very much okay to give up your kids and kill your kids. Like, not like...
You live in a Democrat household. How old are you?
I'm sorry?
How old are you?
I am 26 years old.
You living with your parents?
Give me just a second.
Okay.
What'd you say?
I say, do you live with your parents?
Yes, I live with my parents and I live with my 2 kids. I am working to get out of my parents' house.
Well, that's awesome. But the reason I ask, that's not to give you a hard time. It's interesting that you're only 26. You're a conservative, at least on this important issue, and your parents seem to be radical liberals on a really hardcore issue. It's unusual. And I'm glad that you got your head on straight, even though you've been raised by lunatics.
Well, I wouldn't say my dad's a lunatic, but he is a liberal. He seems to think that, like, people who vaccinate their kids or don't vaccinate their kids should have their kids.
Well, I don't know. Those are different things. But when it comes to abortion, okay, when it comes to abortion, for the most part, men that are so vocal about being pro-abortion, you know why that is? I'm not saying this about your dad. I'm talking about in general. You know, why do you think there are men who are like radical pro-abortion people?
Honestly, I don't know about that.
Most of the men that are strong, vocally pro-abortion have paid for an abortion. They've gotten someone pregnant and they had an abortion. But, you know, most people that are vocally pro-abortion, there's some dysfunction in their life. A lot of times it's women who have had them that are trying to tell themselves that what they did was okay. They have a lot of guilt, so they become abortion activists. Sometimes they're lesbians and they don't like the idea of men telling them what to do, so they become abortion activists. But for men, it's an unusual thing. Most of the men have gotten someone pregnant and they paid for their abortion. And that's why they're so pro-abortion. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Thanks so much. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Mike. I'm from Canandaigua, New York.
All right, Mike in New York. What's on your mind?
I was on hold for 20 minutes and I didn't think you'd answer that.
Well, there's people that have been on hold longer. I can put you back on hold if you'd like.
Actually, I'm ready. I'm ready now.
Okay, you're ready. All right, let's go.
All right. So, I just had a couple of questions, you know.
Well, pick the best question. I'm not here to be interviewed, but pick your best question. Out of all your questions, pick the best one.
Interviewed?
No. I'm hosting a show talking about the news and everything.
Question.
I'm not.
Why don't you want to be interviewed?
Because that's not the format of the show.
So
you can get your own show. You can get your own show and interview people all the time, or let them interview you.
So, do you want a real question or no?
Pick your best question, and I'll see. I'm not promising the answer. I don't know if I'm interested or not.
So,
I'm not interested so far with you, but go ahead.
So, how do you feel about Trump being criminally charged with sexually assaulting a woman?
He has not been criminally charged with sexual assault.
He has been. He's found viable, which means he has been convicted.
Nope. There was a civil case where he was found something that I've never heard of. He was found civilly liable for that, which I don't even understand that. Civilly liable. No, excuse me. All right. Get your own show, and you can talk about that all day. But that's not criminal. That's some civil case. Oh my goodness. I think he just likes to say those words. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes.
Hi. This is Stephanie from Ocean Springs.
Hey, Stephanie, what's on your mind?
Hi. I'm calling because I just want to let you know I'm in 100% agreement with you, and I am so disappointed in these influencers. I mean, they're exposing themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
100%.
Well, what do you Mark Dice, he's kind of like one of these libertarian guys. But Benny Johnson has been living the MAGA life. And this video he did today, I'm so disappointed in him. What do you think's going on with him? What's that about?
I am furious. I'm like you. I'm 100% MAGA. Me and my husband love Trump, and we were just talking about like what is going on with Tim Pool. I mean, oh my gosh!
I don't know.
Did you hear him?
No, I don't really listen to Tim Pool too much. What's he up to?
Oh, you don't. You should not listen to him.
Why?
He's
What's
ridiculous.
Why?
He
What's
was
his?
trashing Trump.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
He was trashing him.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I put in the chat. I'm blocking you. I am never going to listen to you again.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. And didn't Trump grant him an interview? And now all of a sudden he's anti-Trump. I bet you Tim Pool takes all those, like I'm doing, takes all those big, beautiful tax cuts that Trump just signed into law. He should be grateful.
It's ridiculous.
If the big, he's got a big outfit, Tim Pool, he's got a big mansion, with the skate park in it. He's got a lot of people that are living off of him and everything. If Donald Trump had not gotten reelected, right, all those Trump tax cuts would be expiring. He would be in such financial disarray. He'd be in a panic. He might even have to sell the mansion. And he's taking all those Trump tax cuts, and he's, so what's he doing? Trump just saved him, I don't know how much money. He's taken advantage of it like any normal person would. So why is he trying? My guess is, I didn't hear Tim Pool, but my guess is with most of these guys, these fake MAGA, although Tim Pool wasn't MAGA, but Benny, that it's a lot of it's just the views and the clicks. It's becoming kind of like a fad for them to get views and attention if they trash the president. That's what I think a lot of it is.
They're opportunists. They just want attention, and they're disloyal, and we cannot trust these people. I don't know. Why don't they understand that they can trust Trump? I mean, his instincts are on point all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like every time he does something, they all want to second guess him. And as we all know, it ends up working in his favor.
Well, and think about this. Think about this. All these people that are trashing Trump, these disloyal people, how many times have they said what I say, that Trump is playing three-dimensional chess or five-dimensional chess? He's 5 moves ahead of everybody. With what's going on here, with all the files in the list, Trump sees the big picture, and he's 5 steps ahead. Bongino didn't quit after he was threatening to quit on Friday, right? He talked to the president. He didn't quit. So Bongino's with us. Kash Patel's with us.
Yes.
And those are well-established MAGA people.
And what about Charlie Kirk? I mean, what is it with him? Does he just want a future? I mean, once
Charlie Kirk is, listen, I'm 54. It's hard for me to believe I'm 54 years old. It's hard for me to say that, right? I can, it's hard for me. I can remember when my grandmother was younger than I am now, but she's been gone for a long time. And a lot of these guys, they just haven't grown up, and they're young, mentally immature, haven't been out in the real working world, and there's a lot of immaturity with it. And what happened at Turning Point in Tampa was sad. Somebody went out on stage and started talking about the files and the list. The crowd went wild, and everybody else wanted to come over and get the whole crowd going wild and started doing the same thing. It was a a snowball effect or a domino effect, and it was one right after the other. Now, so far as Tucker Carlson, on my last episode of the podcast, I was talking about Tucker. Anytime Trump is in a spot, Tucker always runs for the hills. He was bad-mouthing Trump after January 6th. He was bad-mouthing Trump during the shutdown period. He was bad-mouthing Trump a couple weeks ago when Trump took out the nuclear facility in Iran. So he's Tucker. We all like Tucker's a lot like Lindsey Graham. He's very cowardly.
He's very weak.
Yeah.
He's very weak. You know what? I mean, like me and my husband, we were just talking about this. I don't trust these people anymore. I don't trust Tucker. I don't even trust Megyn Kelly. I was listening to her. I don't trust these people. I don't trust Charlie Kirk. I don't trust Tim Pool. I don't trust Benny Johnson. I trust you because you're like us. You stay MAGA. You don't start freaking out with the littlest thing Trump does. And people don't realize he knows what's going to happen. He knows it's all going to work out. But these people, they're just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
They go online and they rant and they rave, and then they end up having to apologize to Trump. And what they don't realize is they're going to lose the people that are very MAGA, the true blue supporters.
Well, this happened. Listen, in the first campaign, Glenn Beck destroyed his career. I know Glenn Beck's still around, but he's not the big deal he used to be. And during the first campaign, Glenn Beck was a big never Trumper. And he was promoting Ted Cruz, and it was devastating to him, and he's never recovered from it. Mark Levin was a never Trumper too, but he saw what happened to Glenn Beck. A lot of people saw what happened to Glenn Beck and say, oh no. And they stopped being vocal about their never Trumperism, right, because of Glenn Beck. And some of these people that aren't trusting Trump could find themselves like that. I mean, Glenn Beck's still around, and he's, but he's not as relevant as he used to be. Remember, he did a thing at the Washington Mall at the Lincoln Memorial, and he had tens of thousands of people show up for him, Glenn Beck. And he got this ego. And I saw this morning, earlier today, I saw a video. I think Benny Johnson posted this on X, and it was people in line to meet him and take photographs with him at Turning Point. And now he's trashing Trump. What happens a lot of times, when I was talking at the beginning of the podcast, I've been doing this since I was 19 or 20. So I've been doing this my whole life. So I've always had I've had a little bit of celebrity because I've always been, my wife and I, this is our 29th anniversary this year, but I met my wife. She was a listener of mine. My wife was a listener who came to an appearance to meet me, So I've been doing this long enough that I don't have the egos that these guys have, and they get, so they get an ego with fandom and things like that, and they start to think that they're more important than they are. That's what happened to Glenn Beck, and that's correct. There's a lot of self-destruction going on with the out of control egos with people. We're all here because of you.
Right. They're all, you know what? They would be nothing without Trump. They would be nothing. They would have no platform without Trump. So, I don't know.
And I gotta take a quick break, but when I get back, I want to, from the break, I'm going to explain the damage that they're doing, not just to themselves, but to the president. So stay tuned. Thanks for the call. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to take a quick break, and I'll be right back. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Okay, well, I'll just do it live. It happens. We're live, guys. We're live. Technical problems. If you'd like to support my content, become a Patreon supporter. If you become a Patreon supporter, you have access to commercial-free editions of all of my podcast episodes on the Patreon page. Plus, there's a lot of other exclusive content that I post on the Patreon page, and my wife posts there as well. In fact, like this episode right now, I will be uploading to my Patreon page, commercial-free, for those of you that are Patreon supporters. Every podcast episode, I do that. Our top Patreon supporters get a live, on-air, thank you, shout-out on each and every episode. The names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters, and they also have their name up on the screen on YouTube. I want to thank SFjr, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, and our newest top Patreon supporter, Janice. If you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of this and every episode to my Patreon page. The direct website address is patreon.com/real Brian Craig Show. And I also want to tell you about the great Mike Lindell's 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper. My wife and I have been sleeping on the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper for years. It will change your life, I'm here to tell you. It turns your entire mattress into a big MyPillow. And I talk about this a lot because it's insane, this scam that mattress companies have. When I was a kid, mattress companies, right, this is how it worked. Mattresses, they were all two-sided. You had a box spring, and then you had a mattress. And after a while, the mattress gets lumpy, it's bumpy, it's an uneven mattress, and you just flipped it over, and you had a whole new mattress. Well, at some point, the mattress company said, hey, this is crazy. People are buying like 2 mattresses their entire life. Mattresses are lasting people 20 years. So they don't sell mattresses like that anymore. They're all on the bottom. They're like box springs. It's a racket. So if you have an old mattress that's lumpy, it's lopsided, whatever the problem, go to MyPillow.com, use my promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, and get a 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper for 30% off. It comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee, a 10-year warranty. It's machine washable and dryable, and it's absolutely amazing. In fact, the cover of the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper has that temperature regulating technology. It keeps you cool all summer long and warm and toasty all winter long. So go to MyPillow.com, get your 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper for 30% off with my promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. You can also order by phone toll-free 1-800-716-4879, 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. Okay, now, I told the last caller I was going to tell you guys what damage they're doing to Trump. You know, we're almost in midterm election season. And what's very valuable and important in the midterm elections is the value of the Trump endorsement. And what all these idiots are doing is, by their bad-mouthing of Trump and telling their conservative audiences not to trust this great president who literally took a bullet for us, for this country, literally. Right? We just had the 1-year sad anniversary of that a couple of days ago. They're weakening the power of his endorsement, which we need to maintain control of the Congress in the midterms. And we also need for the next presidential elections for the rest of President Trump's life. What they're doing is self-destructive to themselves, to the president, but to our incredible MAGA movement. All right, let's take some more calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name's Caroline. I'm living in Texas.
All right, Carolyn in Texas. Now, here we go.
I understand that you're not really trying to have debate.
I'm not here just to randomly debate somebody with some point they have on their mind. I'm running a show. I'm bringing up topics that I want to talk about. I'm taking calls on those topics. It's not just call in and let's debate what your favorite ice cream is. When I'm live, I am always taking phone calls from people that are listening to the program, but I'm not handing the program over to children that are at home with access to a phone.
I'm 31. I'm
well,
31.
We'll see how adult you are. Let's hear some adulting from you.
I'm really glad we're on the same page, stating that I'm aware that you're not up for a debate. I get that.
Well, what topic that I'm talking about do you want to discuss?
out because, you know, I had to be on the phone. But I noticed you had mentioned a comment about how basically, you know, tax cuts, like it's not going to be a big thing, it's not going to raise the deficit. One of your points is that billionaires are going to get more money, and what are they going to do with that money, right? Like you said that. What are they going to do with it? You said they're going to spend it. But what are you talking about? Are you aware that billionaires don't spend their money? Like,
of course they do.
Spend money.
Of course they do. Didn't you see Jeff Bezos just had this obscenely expensive wedding? It cost him how many tens of millions of dollars?
In Italy, not the U.S.,
but a lot of those, I bet you, no, but he still spent money. Have you seen his house in Los Angeles? It's like a couple blocks big. The estate he has out there. Of course they spend money. See, listen, this is what you don't understand. I know you think you're a grown up, but you think like a 14, 15-year-old child. That when people get tax breaks, whether they're a millionaire, a billionaire, or just a working guy like me, we're not being given money. They're not being given money by the government. You're being allowed to keep more of the money that you've made.
Okay, this is an honest
It's
question.
not welfare.
Like, did you look into, ever how trickle-down economics?
Yeah, it's called capitalism. Trickle-down economics is capitalism. When millionaires and billionaires are allowed to keep more money, they don't just spend it on their sugar babies like Bezos. They invest it in their business and create more jobs.
Okay, you know what? We're going to disagree on this point, but that's giving me a little room to just ask another thing that...
Now, I'm not interested in the next question. And your boyfriend, on his call about this, he did not as well. You did better than your boyfriend when he called me earlier. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ. How you doing?
Well, I'm listening to the expert commentary.
Oh, yes.
On trickle down and trickle this and trickle that.
Yes.
Anyway.
Exactly.
The MAGA... the internet elites have, I think they've got some conspiracy ghosts of government's past going on. I mean, they've lost their mind, and this has been driving me crazy for a good, week, 2 weeks, 10 days, whatever the hell it is. And, the liberals are they're looking for a crack, and they're going to push on it. And MAGA and this Epstein thing have these elites have, it's a self-inflicted destruction.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make a mistake, to me, that's okay. But if your mind has fallen, and it can't get up, you're in Joe Biden territory, and you don't want to be Joe Biden. These guys, I mentioned last week, or maybe the beginning of this week, I had this baseball analogy. I was just thinking about Trump and all that. I mean, it's serious because every freaking thing he does, everything he's done, has been like a home run. I'm thinking, okay, he's 999 home runs out of 1,000.
Yep.
And the one out of 1,000 that wasn't a home run, it was a triple. And all the kids now that are in the MAGA elites, they want to burn the friggin' bats. Nobody realizes, I mean, we actually, if it was last week, maybe the beginning of last week, and I remember this clearly, you're the one who said it, and you were in a certain mind frame then, you're in a little bit different now, but the answer is basically what Trump came out today and said. Bongino said, I read the file. And the tsunami response on the show was, you can't trust the files. Well, yeah, you can't, because it's all Biden.
That's correct.
All they left IEDs in the paperwork.
Yeah.
Evidence. They didn't investigate.
What he's saying is they planted things in these files to incriminate people.
Fake evidence to destroy people, but also to slow down the investigation. So, in other words, if we all push Trump, you got to investigate the past. We'd get bogged down in the past. Instead, we're moving forward. The FBI.
One of the ways to look at this, a few weeks ago, President Trump unredacted all the Kennedy files. There was nothing in there.
Exactly.
And I know the Kennedy stuff isn't in vogue right now, but the Kennedy assassination files, people have been doing everything they could do to get a hold of those files my entire life, and we got them. There was nothing there. And I tell people, people don't keep records and file away their criminal activities.
Smart criminals don't do that.
Exactly. Maybe Hunter does.
We've got Geraldo's,
the Al Capone's vault.
Right
Al Capone's vault.
Al Capone's the vault. I mean, basically, and you just think about, Trump. He mentions and everybody's aware of this, the Russia, lie, the fine people hoax lie. Stephen Miller came out the other day. I love Stephen Miller.
He's my favorite. I love that guy.
He is just so very well spoken. He just lays out one A, B, C, D, and he knocks them down. He talked about the kids that came in here, the trafficking of all the kids that came in under Biden across the border, and all the addresses are fake.
That's right.
They're all fake.
Yeah. Well, listen, I got to run, so I'm going to give you the last word.
Well, I would
Pressure.
just say trust in Trump. I just hope these MAGA elites come around, but
MAGA ego. These are egos. These egos are getting out of control, and they're really kind of getting involved. They're kind of like the way the Twitter mob used to be. They want to. What they're trying to do is these influencers. They're trying to cancel Trump.
Yeah, these guys. Listen. These are the guys. The Democrats are the people that lied to the fist to get the FISA warrants. They've done nothing. Nancy Pelosi's wrap-up smear. Listen to that. She the gall of that woman.
Well,
we lied to everybody.
And another thing too is these Benny Johnson types. They apparently think they're equal to the president or something.
They got way. They are on a. They don't realize. Brian. They don't realize that Benny Johnson especially. That guy was treated like gold. He was. I think you're looking. I think he'll back off. He's not that stupid. Well, I think he is a little bit stupid actually. From what he just did. But, you just look at all the lies these guys have told. Nancy Pelosi got up and said to everybody, we lied to the press, and she's talking to the press.
Yeah.
We lie to you guys.
That's
and
right.
You guys get your shovels out. You get your shovels out, and you shovel all the crap that I'm telling you. You shovel all the lies
That's
out,
right.
You spread it out, and you plant roses and grow a nice little garden, and then we use that
That's
information to wrap up the smear.
That's
They're
correct.
in on it.
That's correct.
So
Well, listen,
freaking
I got to run, but I'll talk to you again soon. Good call. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be live tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Eastern on the morning show, and you can call me then. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. If you would like to be able to call in, follow me on my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. Search it. And when I am podcasting, I live stream my podcast on YouTube, and those that watch live on YouTube can call me live on the program, like these people did today. I was going to say these nice people, but they all were not so nice to call today. But that's okay. You don't have to agree with me to call. Again, my name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.